Hi, I'm StaceyJ and this is my Sit Down Sunday with StaceyJ. Now, if you'd like to know the answers to the questions that have been posed onto my community page that I asked you guys what you wanted to know about me, stay tuned because I'm going to answer them today.
Welcome to Sit Down Sunday with StaceyJ, where we chat about what we want to say. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Write a comment to let me know you've been here.
Hi, I'm StaceyJ and this is Sit Down Sunday with StaceyJ. Today it's a bit different. I normally talk about things to do with body, with colour, with fittings, with style, with all sorts of other things on a Sit Down Sunday. And yes, I'm sitting down, so Mr. Christopher can't come in and say, hey, you're not sitting down on your Sit Down Sunday. But today I'm going to take the time I've printed out the questions that have been posed to me that I asked for, anything you wanted to know about me, and I am going to today answer them. And then I'm going to go out into the sun. I've actually shut the curtains behind me because there was a lot of activity going on outside, like cleaning my car, cleaning Samuel's car, and I believe Mr. Christopher cleaned some part of his car, about that much of his car. He doesn't clean his car very often. But anyway, so I'm sitting down and I'm going to go through these questions with you. So I'll also put the question in the comment and who raised the question with me in the timeline. So if you only want to know the answer to your question and not all the other answers, then please don't hesitate to pop through to that chapter. I don't know how long this is going to take. I have about 17 questions. And I think one I can't really answer in words. I think I have to more do like a little slideshow to show you. Okay, so let's get started. Right, let's start with Julie. Julie is in Melbourne. Okay, you know the beautiful precious fabric. That was from this Julie. Now, we've got little nicknames for each other. She calls me Sensei. So excuse me while I read verbatim what she wrote. Hi Sensei, were you interested in fashion from a young age? What inspires you in your sewing? Was I into fashion at a young age? I don't know if fashion... My mum left school and she worked in a factory. She worked with Bendon, she's worked with Lee jeans. She might be wrong with some of these. Don't quote me on it, Mum. Now my son is ringing me. He knew I was vlogging. So that was the question, was about who inspired me, what inspired me. Like I said, mum left school and started working in for a company, for a lady, and then ended up doing, well, normally I say that my mum was a seamstress by trade. She left school and worked in the rag trade. My uncle was also in the rag trade. He sold stuff, didn't make it, sold it. I think my biggest influence on how I carry myself or how I follow is through my mum. My mum was a lady who never, she always made sure she was presentable when she went out. So that taught me to also be the same. I own a pair of tracksuit, but I don't go outside in them unless I'm exercising and going to the gym. I always try to dress appropriately or that. Fashion, as for fashion, I don't follow fashion. I learned very fast, very quick that I couldn't follow fashion because fashion didn't like my body type, because my body type wasn't a long body. It was a high waist and long, high waist, short-waisted, so waist under the bust. So things didn't suit me. So I guess I had a slight guidance with my mother because, of course, when she would suggest something, I'd like look at her like she's madness. Why would I want to wear that? But I believe my biggest guidance was through the way my mother presented herself every day. Yeah, I think it was, because it made me look at what I was going to wear and all that. As for following a designer, I mean, you could throw designer names at me and I wouldn't know who they are. I've never been that person. When I was 10, I wanted to join the military. I didn't take sewing at school. So, yeah, I just basically was guided by my mother on clothing and things like that. And when you do most of your growing in the 80s, I mean, was there any guidance in the 80s? Was there? So yeah, I think I answered that question. Yeah, I believe my mother was probably my guidance on the way I present myself. And that then, yeah, I think that's the answer to that question. I hope that was the answer to that question. This one's from Georgiana. If you saw my Fembird top that I wore on Friday Sews, that was where I got my fabric from. Okay, this is probably an odd question, but I'd love to see photos of you and some of the makes you've made since you started sewing, if you have them. Would be so interesting to see what you've made in the past and how you've evolved. I grew up without the camera on my phone for a lot of, well, not a lot of my years, for some of my early makes. When I was studying and TAFE for sewing, I made a double-breasted jacket, I made a little kick skirt. We're talking the 90s, so I made those sorts of things. One of the first things I ever made was out of fleece, because I did a course on knitwear, and it was just up the road, and my friend said, do you want to learn how to sew? And I'm like, yeah. And it was in Windsor, and I lived in Windsor at the time, and we'd go together, and it was just like one of those knitwit shops, knit shops. I think I still got some of the patterns I bought from them. The first thing I actually made was a pair of shorts for my fiance at the time, and yeah, they were really big. He wore them, but they were like so big and fluoro yellow. It was hilarious what I made. My evolving over the years, probably for past 20 years, has been more, maybe 22 years, has been more of what I can do to a pattern itself. Then I went and I scoped into the world of the 60s, the 50s, 60s, 70s. Loved it. Mum said I was born in the wrong era at that particular stage, because I just loved their clothing, and still do. When I put on my weight, I decided that I couldn't wear them anymore. Self-preservation, really. So I stopped wearing those. I do, and this is where I said I'll have to do a slideshow. I'll make up a slideshow, and hopefully I'll make it up before I put this in. And so you can get to see some of the clothing I've made probably in the last 14 years since I've been down here. Since I moved to Wellington, I had my own sewing room. So I got to leave things out with 3-year-olds. So I just shut the door and they didn't go in there. So I guess my evolution has been more in the last 15 years. Remember this one time, see, I'm going to sidetrack. Remember this one time I was leaving the house that I'd bought. I owned a house in Scarlet Drive, number 13, lucky for some. And we were packing up we'd sold it, and Mum was in, and we were packing up some of the sewing stuff. This is pre-children. And I was pregnant, and she came across this skirt. She goes, what is this? And I said, nah, it's nothing, just throw it. She goes, no, what is it? And I said, just spin it, just spin it. And she goes, seriously, what is it? And I said, it was a plain skirt pattern, and I was just trying to see if I could, and I didn't know the terminology at the time of hacking and things like that. And I said, I was just trying to do something different, give it texture, you know. I wasn't a lacy frilly kind of girl, but I was trying to give the skirt meaning. She said, finish it. and I said, what? And she said, finish it. And I did finish it, and I made a few more, not exactly the same, different, but I made a few more. And I guess doing that and her telling me just to keep going was quite a huge thing. It made me keep going. So now I have absolutely no hesitation to hack up a pattern and turn it into something else. Sometimes I'm too lazy and I just find a pattern that it's what I want. But yeah, I love hacking patterns. It's very rare for me to make a pattern as it is. And that's, I'm not just talking about the alterations to make it fit my body, but I'm talking about as it is. Okay, so I hope I answered that, and I will throw in, I don't know if I'll cut it off here and add the pictures or add them at the end. I'll let you know later. No, I won't. I'll just put it wherever I put it. This one's from Cathy. Sorry, Cathy. I've got a real fast answer for this. Who writes and sings your intro music? Love the voice, very relaxing. Okay, I write the music. I write the songs that make... No, anyway, I write the lyrics, and I have an AI that makes the music. I would love my daughter to, but she currently refuses to sing what AI I make up. So, and she has the most beautiful, beautiful voice. But yes, so Christopher found an app. Well, actually, it all started from Karina over in Norway. She sent me the song, and I went, oh my God, that's so cool. Did he write it? She's like killing herself laughing. No, it's an AI thing. So she sent me the download, and Mr. Christopher went through and he found one, and I write what comes up and put it in. I put a female voice. I put a soft rock or catchy, and magic. That's what happens. So the actual lyrics are written by me, and the music, and it's sung by AI, some AI person. Yeah. So yes, so I'm glad you like it, and I do like to alter it around, and yeah, makes it funsies. I know sometimes you used to my intro music, and then it changes, and you go, but. So. Sorry, I just like to keep it reals. Okay, this is from Julie again. Me again. What advice would you give to someone wanting to begin sewing? Like, what are the key skills to learn as you start sewing? Like choosing the patterns, what to look for, or what are good garments to start with? First thing I would say is start with something you actually want. Don't start with, well, I teach sewing, and I teach sewing to all age groups, and I start with the basics on dealing with your machine. If you can't deal with your machine, you ain't going to deal with nothing. And then I go through and I teach how to read a pattern. Okay, so once you know the most part of that, you're pretty much free to go. And then I say, what do you want to sew? And we then find the pattern of them. Now, it depends on the age group and things. I'm just basing it on this young girl, Sophie, that I actually taught to sew, who actually got very good marks the following year in her sewing classes at school. Yay! But it's no good me saying, make a pair of shorts and something you'll never wear. I mean, that's not going to get you enthused on what you want to make. So you want to start with something. There are the basics of everything, a basic dress, a basic skirt, a basic top, where you learn small things like a button placket, collar without a stand, collar with a stand, fully lined, all those sorts of things. Now they all have their range of difficulty, but if you're making something you want to make, you have a tendency to learn how to make it, or have a tendency to understand what it is that you are doing. And I have taught Luke, Queenie's son, 2 ways. We both jumped into the water right in the deep end, and that was one weekend I was up there and I taught him how to make a pair of jeans. He'd semi-designed them off a pattern, so I had to semi-alter the pattern. He didn't do any of that sort of work. We only had so many days to do it, and we made a pair of jeans. Well, I brought it home and finished it and then sent them back up, and he decorated them. And the last thing we made together was, I was here and he made his formal suit. Sorry, my eyes. I think the birch trees are really giving me a load of not so much niceness. He made a suit, and every evening I'd get a phone call, because he obviously go to school, and every evening I'd get a phone call when he come up to the next stage, and for an hour, a couple of hours, we'd be on the phone talking. It was hard because I couldn't always see what he'd done, because he was working with black, which was really hard to see. But because he was passionate about what he was doing, he picked up what I was putting down, which was good. So I would start with the basic of what you want to make. If you want to make a shirt, start with a basic placket, maybe a camp collar, short sleeves. If you wanted a dress, maybe just a slip dress. But you've got to know it's something that you want to wear, because the passion won't be there if you're making something because it's easy. Okay, like I said, when I teach how to read a pattern, I explain why. And I think that's a big thing. You got to explain why. Fabric, I would stick to your cottons. I wouldn't go with rayon or your viscose, especially your viscose rayon, because it's very slippery, it's soft, it tends to not stay together when you're sewing it. Cottons are structured, firm. If you know how to use an overlocker, I would say sure, use your fleece or your knits, because they go well in the overlocker. You can always start with a stitch on your machine and then overlock the edges together, or if you're doing a four thread overlocker, then you don't want to sew it. So then you've got to think about your seam allowance. So I would take the basic of what you want to make and take it and run with it, and understand why things are asking you to do something. In the vintage patterns, a lot of the zips are under the arm, and I am left-handed and I can't undo a zip, but I can undo a zip that way because I'm left-handed. It goes straight to my underarm. So there's nothing wrong with you changing things up to make it work better for you at the end of the garment, for the end of the garment. But I don't even know if I've answered this. I think make what you want to make at the basic level. There's a lot of there's an easy chapter in every pattern book. I would possibly, now with Style Art, bringing in more words and more pictures. Some people work on drawings, some people like to see the cloth, some people just like words. I made a dress, hopefully it'll be in the slideshow. I made a dress that I made from a bird a book, and I called Mum over for it, and I couldn't understand what they were saying. So Mum said, stick it on how you think it should go on. I went, I couldn't do that. But it was a vintage pattern. I wanted to do it the vintage way, and it was crazy. So a lot of it is just understanding what it is. My mum said that when she got stuck on a knitting pattern or a crochet pattern, I think it's a knitting pattern, she'd get Dad to read it out. And because just having that other person reading it out while you're touching and looking, it sometimes helps. I don't know if that answered your question, Julie. Did I answer your question, Julie? Yeah, cotton. Cotton's great. It's really good. Anything structured. I would definitely steer clear of rayons and chiffons. Yeah. There's so many fabrics out there that you can use. Linens, cottons, drill, homespun, poplin. Great ones to start with to learn how to manipulate fabric. Okay. Okay, this is from Andrea. Hi StaceyJ, love your vlogs. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. You have a strong personality, personal style. What influences your fashion style and has it changed much over the years? Okay, I don't follow fashion. I don't believe in fashion. I believe in style, so I guess fashion style. My fashion style has been very much influenced over my body type. I love the vintage pants come in at the waist, nip in the waist, out at the, you know, the big full skirts. I can't wear them. So I look like a little box. I have a full bust. I mean, my full bust is, the girls are there, you know, so always got to do a full bust adjustment, and then about that much under my bust is my waist. So when I nip in, I've got to stay in as long as I can before it goes back out to give me shape. I think a lot of my style has not been my mother's style, but my mother's pride in her appearance is what's, I guess, guided me to do very, very much the same. I think that's what it is. Has it changed much over the years? I got this photo of me when I was living at home. I might have been 16. And as I said, my uncle used to work in the rag trade, and my auntie used to have a shop that sold clothes. This is all up in Auckland. My uncle used to work for Regular Jeans. His name was Ralph. So anyone out there know Regular Jeans, and Ralph is the dog that is the emblem logo thingy. Anyway, track off much. She sent me this little peasant singlet, and it buttoned down the front. I did love that, and it was straight down, and then a skirt on elastic waist, and the skirt was peach, the top was white, and the skirt buttoned through, and I loved it. But the thing I couldn't love was the straps. So not liking my bra strap showing because I was young and it was embarrassing, I always ventured away from that. I guess nowadays I don't know if I'd go out with something that's got my bra strap showing, but I tended to move away from that. So I guess what has influenced me is my mother's sense of style with my sense of pride with my body type, which has, you know, helped me grow into what I wear today, like and also my current size. My current size has a lot to do with it. Although I'm not a layer person, I still sometimes have been wearing baggy stuff, which I put on a lot of weight in the last 4 years, and so I was uncomfortable. So I think I evolved and changed a little bit of how I dressed. It was a very fast, very quick weight gain. Thank you very much, my age group. So I guess I changed a bit now, and there's things I like when I made the style like an A dress. I mean, I love the drawing of that. And I knew it wasn't for my body type, but I had an itch, I had to scratch it, and there is no way I would have kept it or worn it, so I didn't keep it. I couldn't have done anything to it that I would have made me feel better by wearing it. I like princess cut things because it comes in, because I'm so big busted, everything just hangs off the front of me. So I have things that cut in. I'm currently wearing the Margot, which is very, very roomy at the moment, but it's a funsy kind of little dress to wear. When I say little dress, I think it's down to my ankles. I think I've got these. I know, I suppose it could be tighter, that would choke me. But it's, yeah, I like texture as well. So when I was pregnant, I I didn't like the pregnancy clothes because everything was just plain pants with a pouch for you to put over your belly. So I got a pair of pants and I cut them up and I double stitch both sides to give it texture, give it like something interesting to look at. That's what I like. That's why I like pockets. Yeah, I guess my weight's a huge one of where I go for my direction, but I think just taking the time to feel good in my clothes. When I have a person I know that's, her birthday is 15 days before mine. So significant birthday before me, and I don't do birthdays. I'm not a happy person who has a birthday. Yep, great, I'm alive. Yep, that's cool. But I don't like celebrating it. It's not something I go, woohoo, look at me, it's my, yeah. Anyway, so she had a birthday and she lived down here, and I said, how are you doing it? I mean, I ran away for some of my birthdays. How are you doing it mentally? And she said, I got up, I got showered, I dressed up nicely, I dressed up in good clothes, and she said, and I did not know what the day was going to have, but I felt good about how I looked. And that was 15 days before my birthday, and to which I went, right. So the next day when I got up, I showered, I put on clothes that I felt good about. I didn't know what the day was going to take me. I put makeup on, and I have done that since that birthday. So every day I get up and I shower, and granted my skin has been sore, so I haven't been overdosing in the makeup, which is only a powdery thing anyway, but I did it ever since that birthday, and that was quite a while ago. So that's what keeps me forward focused. Is there anyone I follow? No, not at all. Even mum says sometimes that's more me thing than a you thing. Like, so I've made something and she said that's more of a me thing. She's ended up with it. I must say that about some of her good cardies that she's knitted. That should be a me thing. Don't see me getting those. But yeah, I think getting up, showering, putting a makeup on, and getting dressed like something might happen in your day. Now, I work from home, and every day I dress like somebody's going to show up. Not every day somebody shows up, but I dress like it is. I think it's just feeling good in your skin and looking good at looking in the mirror and being happy with what it is. I think that's what it's about. Hope that answered that. I'm going to say that at the end of every question, aren't I? This is from my friend Jacqui up in Hamilton. What is the most loved thing to sew? And controversially, what part of sewing has you dragging the chain? Cutting out is hers. Right. What is it that I most love to sew? I love jeans. I love sewing jeans. I love denim. So I love sewing denim. I love it. Love it. I love denim. Izzy, if you're watching, I know you hate denim. I love denim. I lived in Darwin for 6 months. We did the first push to Timor back. And I wore denim jeans every night we went out. It was like 30 degrees. I love denim. Denim. Love denim. I love denim. So I do love denim. And jeans is usually what? So I love making this pinafore dress. This is the Margot, I think I told you. I'll stand up at the end and show you it. I love the top stitching. I love denim. I love denim. Not necessarily saying it's my favourite thing to sew, but I love sewing jeans. So that's why I haven't sewn any, because I want to lose weight. So in losing the weight, then I'll sew some jeans. Yeah. And controversially, what part of sewing has you dragging the chain? I do not cut out my patterns. My patterns are full. So at any time that I need to sell my patterns, they will be in one piece, and they will have the factory fold if it's a number 4 pattern, a big full pattern. tracing them out. I have a particular fabric that I use to trace out. It's something Mum and I came across a while back, probably more Mum because she's a gardener. It's frosting mat that we get from the warehouse. It's $12 a roll and it has like 30 meters of like violin. It's great. So I trace everything out, and that is what makes me drag the chain, knowing that I've got to trace out. So I put a list of the numbers of the pattern I have to trace out, and as I trace it out, I tick it, and as I cut it out for the violin, I make another line so I know I've cut it. I traced it and cut it out. That is it. Cutting out the fabric. If it gets to the cutting out stage of the fabric, I think cutting out the interfacing is I'll get the whole garment made until the interfacing parts, and I go, and then I get the interfacing out and interface everything. If I did it straight away, but I'm just like chafing at the bit, gunning to sew that garment. So I'm currently doing, I've just traced out my friend's birthday present, because I received the pattern on Friday. Yep, I received the pattern on Friday, so I've just traced out that. And I'm not going to say it in case she's watching. And I am halfway through doing my Porter woven pack dress. So the parts there, now I had to hack that pattern. So the parts of there that I need to interface are sitting there with the interfacing on top of it. And what interfacing do I use? Nobody has asked me this. Is woven. Always. I've been using woven interfacing 10 plus years, 14, 15 years. I won't touch. The only time I touch that melded together stuff is if I'm making a bag, and that's because I have it in the room. I was gifted 2 boxes of interfacing by a company that made interfacing down in Christchurch. I met his wife and she said, send her a sample. So yay me, I've got them. So yes. But before that, woven interfacing. And I've got a stretch woven as well to go with my stretch if I so to desire to. So that's the answer to that, Jacqui. Tracing it out on the violin. Because after all that, I then need to do all sorts of other alterations. Speaking of Karina from Norway, what is your favourite fabric to sew, and what is your favourite to wear and why? So to wear as my favourite fabric to sew is cotton. Is even a poly cotton. Something that gives me a crisp, firm, tailored look, like wool, cotton, poly cotton, drill, lawn, all those are nice and crisp. And what is my favorite to wear? Rayon. I love rayon. Rayon is so sexy to wear. It is so soft and floaty on your body. I love it. Rayon is, I have no problem sewing rayon. It's not my favorite to sew, but because it's my favorite to wear, I sew it. And I have learnt over the years though, even though a seam will go inside like a cuff or a collar, I overlock it all, because rayon almost pulls itself apart even though it's inside locked in seams. So note, okay, so if you're going to make something, just make sure when you press it, you don't press hard and bring the overlocking through. That is why. It's because it's soft and floaty on my body. I love a beautiful pirate shirt. I love a pirate shirt. So yes, that is what I love to wear. And anything that's crisp, I love to sew. I love chiffon. I love knits. Favourite though is a crisp woven and wool and upholstery. Right, from Australia, best wishes from Australia. So Learning has asked me, hey StaceyJ, I enjoy watching your vlogs. Want to know how you keep your great sense of humour and strong work ethics as life throws dirt at you. Is there something that helps you? Best wishes from Australia. Thank you for loving my enjoy watching my vlogs. I'm not going to say you love them. You enjoy watching them. I won't put words in your mouth. How do I keep my great sense of humour? My great sense of humour is natural. It's me. It's just my sense of humour. I don't know if it's great or not, but kind of, and my mum might disagree with this. I have my dad's sense of humour. I was asked it many, many years ago, whose sense of humour do I have? And I had to say, what do you mean? And they said, your mother or your father? I said, my father. It's like people say, how did you sleep with my eyes shut? How'd you find the place? Just things like that. Silly things like that. And I love to laugh. I love laughing. I love playing the fool. I like to be serious too. Ask my children. Ask Mr. Christopher. But yeah, I guess, I don't know. My strong work ethics as life throws dirt at me. I don't know. Tomorrow's another day. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I know that I guess I had a really amazing upbringing. Although I do have, I might have a biatch about it, or something that, I say that happened when my childhood, I had an amazing childhood. I had a fantastic upbringing. I love the way I was taught, as in respecting elders, please, thank you, all those sorts of things. I had two very hardworking parents. Yeah, I mean, a lot of who I am is from my childhood and how I was brought up. I love music. Music was constantly going in our house. I guess that's why I like the old music, because my parents are old. Sorry, Mum. I joined the military. I was 18 when I joined. Always had a job, always worked, always wanted to pay my way. That's how I was brought up. Yeah, I think that's it. Is there something that helps me? Yeah, I have Mr. Christopher. I have my gorgeous Queenie. So if I have a dump day, I can go to them and offload, then pick up. I mean, I've had days where I'm flailing. But yeah, no. I got too many beautiful people in my life. I have 3 beautiful children. Don't tell them. That keep me going, and I'm trying to teach them those same ethics that I was taught by my parents. And yeah, I think my parents, yeah, very thankful for whom I chose to be my parents. I didn't do too badly. Don't let that go to your head, Mum. Please don't. Just kidding. But thank you. That's actually really lovely words. Another kind of spin on the same question. Deb from DB Designs and Sewing Australia. What are your favourite garments to sew and least favourite for others and yourself? Because I sew garments for other people, as they may be different. My favourite garments to sew. Jeans, tops, coats. I love coats. I now live in a place cold enough to wear them. Grew up in the tropics, grew up in Brisbane, I grew up in Sydney, I then went to Auckland, and yeah, we have maybe 3 months of the year that you could put a coat on without feeling hot some part through the day. I live in Wellington now, and yeah, coats are required, as are scarves. So I do love a good coat. I love sewing jeans. I like the fact that I make my jeans. Not the minute, I know, granted, I know. I like making shirts. What do I like to sew for other people? What have I sewn for other people? I don't know. I think at the end of the garment and their faces when I've finished is what makes sewing that garment worth it. I'm nervous every time I do it. A whole ton of imposter syndrome I have. That's a whole different rabbit hole. But I guess I mock up every time I make something. Even the top I made for the red ball dress, I mocked that up. I didn't mock the skirt up or anything like that. And of course, after when she'd lost that weight because she'd been ill, it was a bit of a, oh my gosh, no. But I guess their faces, I've made coats for people, I've made ball dresses, I've made wedding dresses, and not the traditional wedding dress. I've made quite a few wedding dresses actually, but never a traditional white one. I've made mother of the groom, mother of the bride. I'm about to make a mother of the groom again. I only make now for people I've made prior to. I have a lovely lady I've made. What I probably don't like making for other people is of something that they've already got, because there's a lot of work in not undoing a pattern and then making a pattern pieces out of that. It's very time consuming, and normally it's something that doesn't fit them anymore, and then you've got to then make it up, find out where some bits are, and then do that. I suppose it's that one. But I love seeing their faces when it's been a something that has been made solely for them. How old was I when I started sewing? I sewed an apron in high school. That was in grade 8, and in grade 8 you did home economics, and we baked and we sewed. One trimester, that was it. And then I had woodwork, and then the next trimester metalwork. I did not take sewing after that. I think this is where the whole imposter syndrome comes in, and I have it with everything I make, and even worse now that I'm a vlogger. So I was, anyway, so I joined the military in 1989, and it was 1990 that my friend said to me, let's go and do this knitwork class. It was 6 weeks, one night a week. Let's go and learn how to do this. I went, okay, let's do it. Yeah. Bought myself a wee singer, like the basic singer. And I went off and I learned to sew knits. And then the following year, I found out that the TAFE, all the Aussies know what that is. It's a tertiary adult education. It's where you go, they do daytime stuff. I think we call it WellTech here. I don't know. Anyway, it's like a night. I took night courses. So for 4 years, I learned to sew. 1991, I learned to sew, and I did women's wear. So women's wear 1 and 2, 4 years, 2 nights a week. So that's how long. So it's been a long time, because I'm not 26. So it's been a long time. Yes. So, very long time. But at that stage, I hadn't learned what I'd learned about what I'd learned. Okay? You don't know what you don't know until you know. Favourite saying of mine. Don't know what you don't know until you know. So that was, I think if I could go on how I started, I would say I was 20 when I started to learn. Deb again. What are you thinking about when you buy fabric? Do you have a plan, or are you a winging it girl? Take for an instance your beautiful fabric from the Precious Fabric vlog. Just beautiful and unusual fabrics. What do I think of? For all those of you that have seen my vintage coat I made, I knew it was a coat as soon as I saw the fabric. When I bought some pink fabric, it was a poly cotton, and but it looked like a linen throughout, like a natural linen, a thick linen, and it was pink. And my friend Erica and Mum had both said to me, "What are you going to make with that?" And I said, "I'm going to make a pair of pants." And they both sort of went, "Ooh." And then I made the pants, and they went, "Oh my God, they look so good." Do I always have a plan? No, I don't. Do I mull things over? Yes. I look at it and say that could be a dress. That's going to be a coat. They're going to be pants, a skirt. I have a rough gauge. If it could be anything, then I buy 3.5, depends on what the fabric costs are. Like, I shouldn't tell you this, but yesterday Mr. Christopher had AJ come over and help do something that's happening around the house. This house is a master of Rennells, right? And AJ came to help him do something, and they were looking for some curtains just prior. And I said to Johnsy, his wife, Johnsy wife, AJ husband. I said, "Well, Spotlight's doing some sale-y stuff," and she said, "You drive, I'll go." And so jumped in the car. So it wasn't my fault. Fully blame Johnsy. If she wasn't looking for curtains, I wouldn't have done it. And you know what Mr. Christopher said? "I'm going to text your mum and tell her you're going to Spotlight without her." And I said, "That's not fair." So did I know I was going to make a top with that panel fabric? No, not at all. I loved it. I loved the look of it. And I don't know why, when I saw it, my brain went into exactly what I made. It just happened. I don't know why it happened. It just happened. And yeah. And that goes back to my style. So that particular style goes back to, like, that's why I pick patterns. I pick patterns because I think, except for an A dress, because that's going towards what I like to wear after I change the pattern up, because I hack everything. So yeah, that's not always dead at all. And sometimes I look at stuff and go, "Oh, that's so beautiful," and I put it back down because I haven't quite made my mind up yet. I had a beautiful fabric with tigers and a scene down the bottom from Julie over in England, and I picked it up and put it down a few times. I haven't found the right thing yet. Hasn't come in here, hasn't landed. A lot of flying around, hasn't landed. Yeah, so not always dead. Don't always find what I want. Speaking of Julie, from Julie Sews Her Own Clothes over in England, are you doing Vlogmas this year, and do you have a plan? Loved your days of Christmas makes last year. Now, if you did not watch my Vlogmas last year, I started watching vloggers probably June, July last year, and maybe even April. Mum got me into it and said, "You should be a vlogger." Or she said, "You should do Friday sews." Apparently I stepped out of just the Friday sew box. But anyway, when it came to the Christmas, because I didn't know all about Vlogmas, I'd missed my opportunity to get any of the boxes to open from behind the pink door, Thingo with Kylie and the Machines, from Godmother, Fabric Godmother, all those. I didn't get involved in any of that. Even I think something from Kirsty over in Dahlia Society. I didn't have anything. So, and I wanted to be a part of it. I was a new vlogger. I was trying to get my subscribers up. And so I made something every day and did a sew along with it. So just something little, whether it was napkins or a table runner or an apron or a hat or a bag. I made it every day for 24 days. Am I going to do that again this year, Julie? Oh my gosh, yes. Have I got a plan? Hang on, what's the words? I have a thought of a plan. I have the makings of a plan. I have a plan. I do. Anything anybody wants that, you know, I don't mean something that's going to take 5 days to make, but if there's something out there that you're like, hey, what if you do this? Because I did have a few people step in and say, what about this? So that was last year, because it's hard to fill 24 days of little nicky-nacky things that are going to be of value. I don't want to make something that's going to be, what is that, and throw it, you know, sort of thing. But I have a plan, and I'm open to suggestions of other things that could be helpful for me to do sew-alongs with. So yes, Julie, I will be doing that. I have not ordered anything to open, so I won't be doing an opening. You just have to put up with me. So there you go. That is answering that question for sure. And I'm glad you loved it. So make sure that you head over to my channel this Christmas. And if you're out there and you're watching this for the first time and you want to see what I make for vlogmas, make sure you subscribe. I'd like to get at least an even keel of going up with my subscribers. This is from Libby. I love her name. Like, it's Libby Bennett, but her name's Elizabeth Bennett. Get it? Pride and Prejudice. Who doesn't get it? It's like one of my favorite movies. What are your favorite makes and favorite pattern companies? How do you keep your sewjo all the time? So I'll answer the sewing question first. The sewing question: how short do you cut your lining of fabric if making a dress? I don't necessarily cut it shorter. I just double roll it up higher. So if I'm going to hem my dress 4 centimeters, I make sure that I go up 6 and then up again, and that keeps it above the line. Some pattern companies, if you have separate lining panels or separate lining pieces, you'll note that they are actually smaller. Yes, you will. So I just make sure, like, I do the maths, because if I'm lining something that's not meant to be lined, then I just make the same thing, and then I just make sure I shorten it again, or I bag it. You can alternatively trim off 2 centimeters, as long as you've got the hem of the other item is going to be substantial, like 4 centimeters. There you go, do 2 and it sits on the top. If you didn't understand that, you know my WhatsApp. Okay, WhatsApp me. Okay. What are my favorite makes and favorite pattern companies? How do I keep my sewjo? My sewjo is kept because I don't want to be naked. That's sometimes I get overwhelmed with all the things I want to make, and that stalls the sewjo. But I've never had the don't want to come to my sewing room. I lie, I did. When my father first passed, it took me a while to rhythm it back up, maybe almost a year, but I got there in the end. I still made things, and part of that year I started vlogging, which did help pull me out of my emotional funk, not my sewing funk. Didn't have a sewing funk. I love to sew, I love to create, and doing my monthly makes, I don't know, Mr. Christopher would kill me if I had lost my sewjo. He would kill me. I don't know. I think I have a partner that is my biggest enabler, So I guess that helps a lot. And he still gets excited with things I make, which is really nice versus previous. Mum sews, so it kind of keeps me on my toes of my sewjo, so I'm there. And I like to create. A lot of my days get taken up with work, sewing for other people, mostly alterations. But yeah, it's kind of, I love it. I can talk about sewing all day and helping people all day with sewing. Yeah, I think that's, so that's, and I think that's why when you came to me with your questions, I loved it, because I could, help out with that. I don't know. I love my room. I love my studio. I love my safe space. I like it when it's tidy. I lose my sewjo when it's a mess. And normally between each project, I tidy up. Really tidied up the other way this week gone. So I think that's what keeps my sewjo going, tidy up in between projects, because I get to the point where, okay, I don't know where is everything. It's not its place. And I'm not a tidy person. My mum can vouch for that. I'm not, but this, yeah, I think I lose my sewjo if my room's not tidy. And that's how I keep my sewjo. Yeah. And what was the last bit? One of my favourite makes, denim, jeans. I love my fern birds, and I love the way I'm changing them up. Making the same, I love a v-neck, so making the same scope of a v-neck, a nice floaty fabric. I loved the Porter woven pack skirt and ensemble I made there. I love that. I felt pretty. I felt pretty in it. Anything that makes me feel good. My pink dress I wore to the wedding, it made me feel pretty. And Mr. Christopher loved it. So I feel that was another one of my favourites. My jeans that I make, I love them. I guess because I get complimented on them. So they're tedious to make and they're time consuming. But I love the outcome of it. I think anything I love the outcome of is, one of my favourite makes. But that Porter woven pack skirt, there's too many P's in that, that blew me away myself on how I felt in it, how it made me feel in it, the colour, everything about it. So that's definitely one of my favourites. My favourite pattern company, everybody would assume it's going to be Stylark because I make a gazillion Stylarks. I don't think I have a favourite pattern company. I think I have, I've got 9, 18, 21, is that 3 9s? What's 3 9s? 27. Yeah. How many of you yelled out 27? I have 9 boxes filled with patterns. I think more, I like Stylark because it has a massive range of patterns. I don't think they're all for me. I don't have a favourite pattern company at all. I use a lot more, I used to be a Big Four girl. I grew up with Big Fours. Indie patterns weren't really a thing when I first started. So I am evolving, and that's through watching the girls, all the other vloggers on there, on the thing. I should say girls, because I watch the lovely Adam as well. But I think it's finding what I want and what style suits me over the pattern company. So I won a pattern from a pattern company, but there wasn't anything I wanted to make. I have since found something, but they haven't got back to me, so I haven't got it. But yeah, it's not the pattern company that grabs me, it's what's designed that grabs me. Yeah, that's the answer to that one. Yeah. Oh, one more from Julie over in Australia. Oh, and one more. Oh, how do you keep your sewing mojo so awesomely high? What tips, habits, and help you? Okay, I think I've covered that. My tip is keep your studio tidy. Keep your things in the right places. I tried to teach Miss Christopher that, but you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Put things back where they are so you know you can find them. Stop tidying too much that you don't know where you put it after you tidied. I've kind of lost my my press down. All the tools that was in this thing one day. I was like, where did I put it? When I tidied. I feel so revived and refreshed after changing my entire room around. Don't know if I'm happy with the style or where everything is right now. By the by, I feel liberated in it. I feel unhinged. I feel hinged, not unhinged. I feel good. There are a few more things I want to tweak, but until then, I am happy with it. I have regained some self-love in my mojo. But how do I find my mojo? I have beautiful people texting me, subscribe to me, asking me questions, coming behind the scenes on WhatsApp or Messenger and saying, hey, can you help me out with this? That really keeps me alive, my mojo alive. It really does. It's your passion permeates my passion. Is that a word we use, permeate? I don't know. But yeah, there you go. It's not always awesomely high. Yeah, I think definitely coming on and being a vlogger has pulled me out of my funk after Dad, but it's really just you guys. You guys have really kept the sewjo mojo going, happening, and asking questions, communicating with me. Yeah, and plus I don't want to be naked. And I don't want to buy clothes because when I put on all my weight, I bought pants, trousers, pants, all that sort of stuff because I couldn't be bothered making something in the vain hope I was going to lose weight, and then all that wasted. So I bought pants and some tops that I could just feel okay in, you know. So, and in the meantime, I then kept making clothes that were going to fit me. So I had my instant gratification, chuck on those clothes to feel good about yourself, and now make clothes to fit yourself. So I did that. But yeah, I think a lot of my sewjo is you wonderful people. Honestly, and how much you say you enjoy hearing me prattle on for hours and hours and hours. Right, I've got one last question here, and this is from Jane Cooper. Is organising a sewing retreat / weekend still on the radar? Yes. Oh, yes, it is on the radar. There are a few things I want to do. I want to hold WIP parties, which is your work in progress parties. So we get together, you bring something you've already started, you're stuck on, you're not sure of, you need someone to push you through that next step of it all, get that damn thing finished. I want to hold those evenings. I don't know, Jane, I think you are not local to me. Correct me, please, if I'm wrong. But also definitely want to do, find out who is keen to get together for a retreat or a sewing weekend. I've got to grow a set and put it out there and say, hey, I'm in the Wellington region, I want to organise a retreat for sewing, who would be interested? I need numbers up so that I'm not organising it for two people, me and somebody else. I know Mum would be interested. I've met a lovely lady, her name is Elizabeth. She lives around the corner. She found my precious fabric on Stylark. I popped it on Stylark patterns. I think it's the first thing I've ever stuck on Stylark patterns that I've made, and we know I've made a few. And she lives around the corner, and she also lives across the road from someone that sews. And I said, this is what I want to organise. That would be fun. What do you think? So she's just popped over to the Isle of Wight to see her mum. So, yeah. Yes, it is on the radar. I want to also do sewing evenings or sewing party things. So get some girls together. Here's 5 items. Pick one and you all make that one thing. Okay, it's not a lesson, but you go over it with me. You know, just a funsy night with the girls, glass of bubbly each, some snacks and some. Now, we'll all blame Mr. Christopher for that. When before I launched, which was 5 years ago yesterday, before I launched, he was doing a job and this woman said, oh, would she do a sewing party? And he's like, of course she will. And then we had to discover what that was all about. So funny, hilarious. Yes, Mr. Christopher, like I said, is my biggest advocate, my biggest enabler. Johnson and I went to Spotlight yesterday. Side subject, squirrel. And we were standing. This gentleman walked in the door. He had like a painter's shirt on. He had splatters of paint, like splatters of paint on his shorts. Older guy, I would say in his 70s or so. And he stood straight in this doorway, had a little puku on him. And I said to Johnsy, way to stand in the doorway. And Johnsy goes, I can see that being Chris in 20, 30 years. And I said, oh, you know, because we realised he stood in the door and he's like looking around like he's going to look for his wife. Like, or, you know, that's what our assumption was. And I said, no. I said, for a start, Chris wouldn't be sitting in the car. I said, Chris would be carrying the bolts of fabric and holding my coffee. Why do I know that? It's because he has done that in the past. Biggest enabler. Never says no. No, he doesn't. So, yes. So that is the answer to that question, Jane. So, yeah, those are my questions. Those are the answers. I feel like I've been talking for hours. It's going to be a big, big vlog. Like I said, I'll put the questions down and you can go straight to your answer if you want. I hope I've been clear and crystal of what you've asked. And Georgiana, I have to get my stuff sorted on Canva and find my little special photos of what I've taken in the past, and I'll make a little film that again will elongate this whole thing, but there will be chapters. I promise you. I've made these promises, I better keep them. Yes. So thank you very much for the questions. If there are any more questions that you've gone, oh, I didn't know, and you can jump on board and I'll just answer them as I go. So any questions you've got after this, I will answer either at Friday Sews or a Tuesday tutorial or, yeah. So by the way, this Tuesday, I do have a few things on, but I would like to do a tutorial. Sorry, I just found a black spot on my lounge. I am having a me week. I feel like just taking some time out for me, make for me, be with me, except for I will fix the carrier. The zips come away, so I'm going to rebuild the zip. So I'm going to put it like bias down the zip. Probably won't be bias, it'll be straight cut down the zip and then put the zip inside where the zip's meant to go. So I'm building the zip before I slot it into the zip hole where it's come out of, or it's frayed from. It hasn't come out of, it's frayed from it. Yeah, I'd like to do how I put in visible zips. Okay, how I do it. A how to. Anyway, I'm going to go. I'm going to say stay well, stay warm, stay dry, keep cool, keep on sewing. and have no regrets. I haven't shown you what I bought yesterday. You guys don't want to see that. Roger. Okay. Thank you very much for taking the time to ask the questions. And I will see you next time I'm looking at you. See ya. I knew I'd do it. I knew I'd do it. Okay. I'm going to show you what I'm wearing. Okay, so this is my my Margot. I did do a full bust adjustment, strangely enough, because it doesn't full bust cover you. Just gonna move this little stool. Okay, so my Margot, and if we go down, you'll see I've got that little. I like doing the detail like this because it gives you some texture on it without being too girly. I'm not a girly girl. Never have been. I've just noticed the gate's open. I hope those dogs are inside. So that's what I'm wearing. And I'm wearing my new brown shirt I made before Friday sew so that I had something that I'd made this week. So I've got that on today. I'm about to go and put my sun hat on and I'm going to go and sit in the sun. Hey guys, can you please wear sun hats? It's important to look after your face, your skin. Okay, so if you can't put a sun hat on your arms, put some plus on it. Yeah. Nice deep pockets. Bib and brace. Loving it. Love it. It's so comfortable. There's like, if I'm cold, put my hands down it. Okay, so that's not how you do it. But anyway, that's what I'm wearing. I've got no shoes on, but anyway. And on the back, I think I've got a S and a J. Oh, if you want to know what the J stands for, I don't know if you've ever heard me cuss myself while I'm sewing. What the Stacey J, the J stands for. Oh, sorry. It's actually my middle name. My middle name is Joanne. J-O hyphen capital A-N-N-E. Joanne. So there you go. That's something nobody asked. Nobody cares. Just kidding. Just thought I'd say that because I tell myself off. I say, oh, Stacey Joanne. I learned that from my mum. Telling myself off. Getting told off. Stacey Joanne, come here. Right. Now I will go. Thanks again for taking the time to watch and promise chapters. Promise.
Welcome to Sit Down Sunday with StaceyJ, where we chat about what we want to say. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Write a comment to let me know you've been here. Welcome to Sit Down Sunday with StaceyJ, where we chat about what we want to say. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Write a comment to let me know you've been here. Welcome to Sit Down Sunday with StaceyJ, where we chat about what we want to say. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Write a comment to let me know you've been here. Subscribe, like, and share, just to let me know that you care.